Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Gaming with Kohath. Today, it's very different. You're only seeing me, but we'll change that in a second. Wanted to say a big thank you to Wizards of the Coast and to everyone who really worked to make this an exciting set of Modern Horizons 2. Honestly, I did my best to avoid spoiler season. I mean, it's hard to keep up with anyway, but kind of went into it completely blind, and I can't tell you how exciting that was. To step into this format blind. I remember I was sitting across from one guy and he said, "Oh, just so you know, I have delirium." And I looked at my hand and I looked on the board and there was nothing that said delirium. And so I was immediately terrified because he was already forewarning me of something to come. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't even know delirium was in this set. So super exciting, super fun stuff. Before we start, I want to talk through a little bit of my decks and what I decided to play, show you what I played, as well as show you my other option. I would love to hear your feedback a little bit on which one you would have played. Hindsight's 2020, I'm not sure I would have played my deck. I really thought it was the better of the two. Not the most fun, but the better. And I really did enjoy the games regardless. But before we jump in there, I just want to say a big thank you to Asgard Games, Houston, Texas. You guys did a great job with this pre-release, making it safe and making it inviting to everyone. I know you're still doing events for the rest of this week, and so I look forward to seeing you continue to prosper, continue to really treat and care for the community well here in Houston. So good job, guys. I really appreciate your work there. Also to my three opponents, really had a great time playing you, Alex, Johnny, and Daniel. Found that we had great games, and yeah, it was a blast. So, now then, to move into my deck a little bit. End of the day, I went match 1, 0-2. Not a super exciting way, I made so many misplays. I really was able to see how my deck would work. I knew that it synergized well, I just didn't. I had so many mistriggers, so many missed opportunities, honestly. You would live and learn, and I did. Next match, I went 1-1 and draw, so that was unfortunate, but still really great games. I was able to grind up for value. And then game 3, I went 2-0 against a newer player. He did a great job. He made a few mistakes, but we talked it through, helped him understand a little bit more, and had a really great time. If you're ever considering pre-release, no matter what pre-release it is, it could be as big and complicated as Modern Horizons or something as simple as bring someone along that you think should play, because that is the event that is most welcoming and most exciting for new players. So let that be an encouragement to you, I suppose. Well, let's go ahead and transition over to deck list, and we can talk a little bit more about the deck that I played, why I chose it, and what we thought about it. So here on the screen, you'll kind of see what we were playing. You'll see kind of a green-blue very slight white splash. White did have some of my better removals, so I wanted to play it. But really has some good stuff. As you see over in my one-drop slot, I have a couple of Glimmer Barons, old border and new. Honestly, I kind of thought I wouldn't like the old border stuff, but I think it's pretty flavorful. It was really fun. Anyway, Glimmer Barons 1, I made some major mistakes with. You sacrifice a creature, you get a +2/+2, or you sacrifice a token. So I thought, because I didn't read the card well enough, I thought it was when you sacrifice a creature this happens. Unfortunately, it tells me sacrifice a token. It is a sacrifice outlet. Game 1, I didn't realize that. I ended up losing a number of tokens. I wasn't attacking with my Glimmer Barons. It was a major mistake because Glimmer Baron really is. It's a one-drop beat. It's very good. So having 2 of those is really beneficial. Abundant Harvest, we're all familiar with now thanks to the Mystic Archives. It's a very good card. It's worth pulling. I did pull Chatterstorm, and in limited, it's cute. You can sometimes do it. I did it in each match. I ended up getting 3/3 and 2 swirls, so it's not the best, but 3 swirls for a 2-mana card is pretty great, especially whenever I was doing so much with tokens. And it's just fun. Casting a storm card is always neat. Dustshell Crawler, honestly, did a lot of work. The fact that it comes in, it's going to add a 1/1 counter or something, and immediately give it trample, that's actually pretty powerful. I was really surprised by how good that was. I also didn't realize quite how many cards had proliferate in the synergy, so made me wish I had a little bit more counters, especially when I was playing something like Unbounded Potential, the white 2-drop here. Really think it would have been beneficial to me to have more counter strategies. The Jade Avenger is a very good 2-drop. Attacks in for 2, it'll block for 4. Very strong. Can potentially attack in for 4 if they want to block, but super awesome. The Combine Chrysalis, I think, is what made the deck. The fact that that card gives you flyers, every token is a flyer, and then you can sacrifice tokens that might be useless in order to create 4/4 beasts, is incredible. So I've already mentioned that we're creating squirrels that I think you saw. Then if you look here in the 2-up slot, we have Barb Spike. Barb Spike's going to give us a Thopter. Thopter's already pretty good, but a 1/1 flyer is not so it's a 4/4 flyer. So attacking with it, sacrifice it, go ahead and switch it over to a beast, and you can reattach the Barb Spike to it if you want. Smell Fear was also fine. It wasn't the best in my deck because most of my creatures are pretty low to the ground unless I can pump them up first. So the fact that I had Proliferate on it unfortunately wasn't super impactful in my games. Scurry Oak is another way. It's an evolve card, and whenever it gets a 1/1 counter, it immediately starts putting squirrels on the board. So another great way to create tokens. The Tireless Provisioner. What a fun card. I mean, clearly a callback to Tireless Tracker, but you're gonna get tokens, food or treasure, your choice. And the treasure I used almost immediately, usually, just to be able to get another 3-drop off. Oddly, I never really had Provisioner on turn 3, but it's okay. It still ended up working out well for me. And another way that I was able to heap tokens on the board that I could turn into 4/4s that I could continue to utilize. Crack Open, I think, is very worth playing in this format. There's so many artifacts in the format. Not so many enchantments, there's a few, but the artifacts are definitely worth it because affinity for artifacts, you're seeing some major things go down fairly early. Having a way to access this is good. Deepwood Denizen also was a huge card for me. Being able to draw me 2 or 3 cards each turn was really beneficial and helped me kind of pull ahead. In match 2, that's really where I saw it shine, and I was able to continue to just kind of draw cards, pull from my deck. Opponent was stagnating, just drawing lands, and I was just able to continue to outvalue with it, so that was pretty great. The Jewel-Eye Cobra is good. 3/1 Death Touch blocks incredibly well, and then it'll drop a token for me to turn into a beast later, so I really solid card there. Yavimaya Elder, always good. Draw a card, find 2 lands out your deck, and since I had that minor white splash, it was very helpful, very beneficial. The Guardian Kieran, it has a major target on it. It is a win condition. The fact that you can continue to put 1/1 counters on it whenever stuff dies is just really strong. And so, whenever I'm sitting here looking to sacrifice tokens left and right with my Barons and everything else, I was able to grow this significantly. Lens Flare, I ended up playing 2 of those. Actually, I changed my deck partway through because prior to Lens Flare, what was the card that I was playing? I was playing Piercing Rays. So Piercing Rays will appear on the screen now so you can see, because what I thought that it would be pretty good. 2-mana exile tapped creature. Okay, that's fine. I can tap something down on my turn if I need to. That's a good way to get some pressure in on the opponent. The downfall with it is opponent 1 had so much vigilance. And honestly, as I played through my progression, I noticed there was a lot of vigilance in the set to where Piercing Rays really lost value, in my opinion. It wasn't the greatest card, so I was very happy to switch it up for Lens Flare. Usually it was a 3-mana spell for me. There were a couple times I had enough artifacts in the field that I was able to end up casting it for just a single white, and that was very helpful. We had Wave Scepter. It's basically a Muldrifter you're going to investigate twice. I mean, a 3/2 flyer is okay. I wish it kinda was a 3/4. Having a bigger butt would be really beneficial for it. Having such a small capacity to block really hurts it because, I mean, once you get to 5 mana, like, it is a value card, but it's not able to be super aggressive, and it's also not able to stabilize you very much at all. So it's a bit unfortunate because whenever you see something like that, you think Muldrifter, and you're like, sweet, draw cards, but it isn't that. So it's much slower. I'm just not sure I'm very high on it, honestly. I was beforehand, and once actually playing the deck, it's pretty good. Same with Scour the Desert. I think Scour the Desert would be really sweet. In my deck, I'm looking at 3 toughness is the largest of creatures I was playing. Really wasn't that great, but it was a way to get some more tokens and to utilize something in the graveyard that I wasn't otherwise doing. So I still played it. I thought it was still worth it, but it certainly wasn't the best in our deck. Then I had the one Tangle Bridge as well. Yeah. But then you notice I skipped over the rares there. So we did have the Marsh Flats. I played it just as a way to fish out a white source if I needed. It was fine. I also played the Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. I think it really helped the deck flow because we were heavy green, and so we were able to really play well and play around anything the opponents had. Yeah, the Burden Aerialist was also a fine card. It wasn't great. It was just fine. Being able to attack in and get in for 3 occasionally was okay. We also had the Ornithopter Paradise, which was solid. Always a solid card, in all honesty. I think it just did so much work. Being a 0/2 is really good, and then being able to tap for any color really made it possible for the splash. So highly recommend that. So in the end, we got 1 match win out of the deal. It wasn't the best, but it could have gone much worse for me, right? Now, that's where I chose to go. And you can kind of see how it works. You see the synergies of the tokens and everything else. Now, the next deck that I thought about playing, I was in between it. I thought that this deck looked so fun, but I didn't think that it was really going to get their own power. It was a Grixis deck. Really leaning pretty heavily on our red, because our red has some pretty good removal spells. So let's go ahead and switch over. You can see that deck here. So in this format, black-blue is pretty heavy on Surveil, black-red's pretty heavy on Madness. Those actually work really well together. Being able to find what you want to put in your hand, then you can end up finding a discard effect, you discard it. Helps you dig through the graveyard matter, so that helps quite a lot. I would have played a white slash here just to be able to curve something out of our graveyard. You see the Blazing Root Wall Up. It's a really fantastic Madness effect that it's 1 red mana in general, but if I discard it, I can cast it for 0, which is free value, right? It's only a 1/1, but you can pump it up to a 3/1. It's fine. Unholy Heat, good removal spell. Gargadon, put it out on turn 2 and to suspend on turn 6, you end up with a pretty big beater. It's not the worst. It's certainly not great, but it's not the worst. Lightning Spear, I was really impressed by this card. It does threaten the whole time. So it's 3 mana. You play it, and then it's going to be 3 mana to sacrifice to get 3 damage or something. So I can see that it's on the battlefield. It actually prevented me from playing some of the cards. Kaleidoscorch is also very good, especially if you play more than, the more colors the better. Flametongue Yearly, callback to Flametongue Kavu is very good, has potential to do some really busted things. Sinister Starfish, continue to dig through your deck a little bit, find the pieces that you want. Cabal Initiate, you can end up gaining some life along the way, and it also is a discard outlet to trigger in some of your madness. The Vampire Gorger is a way that if I get into a recursion loop, then you can end up just draining the opponent completely. I didn't have that set up, but I did think that it was worthy enough for a spot of what this deck could have been. Lazatap Chancellor, I think, is pretty busted, honestly. So Lazatap Chancellor, what a crazy card. 2 mana, 1/3. Okay, fine stats, whatever. It's not great. You're not going to do much with it. Whenever you discard a card, you may pay 1. And if you do, amass 2. So pay 1 mana, get a 2/2. Do it again, get a 4, pump your 2/2 up to a 4/4. Pump it up to a 6/6. It really kind of goes crazy. And so it's 1 creature that will continue to kind of push new creatures in the battlefield. It's very, very good. Again, Ornithopter Paradise gives us that capacity, that flexibility to go and get whatever we need. Master of Death is really good. When it enters the battlefield, Surveil 2. That's great. At the beginning of your upkeep, if it is in graveyard, you may pay 1 life if you do return it to your hand. Recursive abilities are always really difficult to deal with and limited. It's really frustrating. You spend a very precious resource to get rid of something. Oh look, it comes back. It's really frustrating. Dehalda's Ploy. It's an okay card. Draw 2 cards and discard a card for 3 mana. You gain life equal number of cards you discard this turn. Wait again life, wait dig deeper. It has Jumpstart as well, so you can do it again. It's okay. It's not my favorite. The Gouge Zealot is pretty good. Kind of gives us that capacity just to attack into things, especially once we hit Delirium, so that's really solid. Mountain Bellis Manticore, I still do some incredible work. Just being able to discard stuff and ping me down, ping down my creatures is very good. The one time my opponent had it, they didn't use it aggressively enough, and I was able to kill it off with the 5-mana Flare white card, and it was great. Great for me. Unfortunately for the opponent, a bit of a misplay there. I think they should have been a lot more aggressive killing off my stuff, but it is what it is. Terminal Agonies, you see I have one of each of the old and new borders. Very good card, Madness, destroy target creature for red and black. I mean, that's pretty solid. 2-mana remove anything spell. Late to Dinner are 1 white splashed in order to get back one of our beefy guys out of the graveyard. One of those being the Necrogoyf, as you see in our 5-drop slot. Star 4 is power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. And it also has Madness 3, so great capacity to get it in and out. World Weary, being able to take something down, -4/-4. It also has basic mana cycling, so it gives me the capacity to go find that white source if I wanted. Lucid Dreams, draw a bunch of cards. Archfiend Sorrows, this is where I wanted my Late to Dinner to target. 7-mana 4/5. Flyer. When it enters battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. That's pretty great. And then it has Unearth. And so return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield after paying 5 mana. It gains haste and makes off damage and stuff. So, potentially, just with 1 Late to Dinner, I could end up doing this 3 times. Play it once, someone kills it, pull it back from my graveyard, someone kills it, pull it back from my graveyard, again with Unearth, and then it's gone forever after that. But that's pretty great. Mental Journey, I don't like this card. 6 mana, draw 3 cards at instant speed. Whatever. I really did have it. I would have thought about playing the deck because it has basic land cycling, so pay 2 mana, go get plants. That's what I would do. The Drawsforge Bridge, it's worth it in this deck. Those are the 2 decks that I was looking at. I don't know. Looking back at it, I still think I made the right choice. I do think I would love to play the other deck. I kind of wish we would have had some time and some flexibility to sit down and just play with friends there. Just like, hey, let me switch on my deck real quick. Let's jump in. Didn't have that capacity, that flexibility. Had to get home, go to the grocery store for the family and such like that. But regardless, a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff there. Ended up, as you saw earlier on, you saw pictures of the Shardless Agent and the not in this direction, Moderation. You saw pictures of those because I actually traded those 2 cards away. Someone really wanted that Shardless Agent. I said, you know what? Sure, I'm not doing that. I don't really care that much. They're super into Modern. I already have. I think I have a place to Shardless Agent, so I'm not really digging for it. So I was like, you know what, sure. And it was a $10 card or something. So he gave me his binder. I looked through it, ended up finding a Back to Basics, which I really did want for some of my decks. I think that it's just a fun card. Well, fun for me. I think it should be fun for other players. I'm not. My social contract's a little bit more anything goes as long as we're trying to have fun, trying to win the game. So, ended up trading Shardless Agent and Moderation for that card. It was fine enough. And then Wizards, unfortunately, and if anyone from Wizards sees my channel, I just want to add to it's not frustration, it's just disappointment, I guess, that there weren't prize packs sent for pre-release. I think that's always really fun, just being able to have a prize pack that Wizards gave, that they care enough about the player base to give something. Because, I mean, this set is expensive for players, but we wanted to play it, we loved it, we wanted to get in there and do it, because we know and we trust Wizards to make a good product. And so, of course, it was always a gift, it was always a bonus, and so Wizards, do what you wish, but I just want to let you know, like, I was a little bit disappointed, a lot of the base was disappointed, the store itself was kind of sad too, so just no prize support, honestly. That was sad. What Asgard Games did is they decided, you know what, we have promo packs that we can end up using, so they used California and Strixhaven promo packs. I think if you made the top 6 or 8, you would get the foil packs. I didn't. Clearly, I went 1-1-1, so I just got the participation prize, which I'm very happy with. I think it's really fun. So here on screen, you can kind of see what I got. In Kaldheim packs, I got Fria's Retribution, Doomscar, and Frostbite. Great cards, right? And then in my Strixhaven, I got the Basic Conjuration, Temple Plenty, and the Birth of Heart. By and large, overall, I had a blast at this pre-release. The first pre-release in forever. And so, really enjoyed it. Thanks Wizards for making it happen. Thanks Asgard Games again for making it such a safe environment for everyone to participate in. And overall, I'm really just grateful for this game. I'm grateful for the community that it builds. I'm grateful for each of you that come and join me each episode of Gaming with Kohath. And I hope that we can continue to build this community, continue to grow it, and continue to end up making the gathering part of this game a focal aspect of what we're doing in Magic Gathering. So thanks a lot to everyone for this great product and this great experience. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love your feedback. Which deck do you think was better? How does it work? Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, never miss another episode of Gaming with Kohath. We'll see you back here for another time when we jump back into a draft video. Till then, we will talk to you later.